Draft day, Johnny Manziel. 5 years later, how am I the man still? Draft day, A. Wiggins. Forget that other side, man. We stay winning. There it is, the NBA draft lottery order. Cleveland ends up with the #1 pick. I'm very impressed with Philadelphia and how you went tank hard to get that #3 pick, of course, and the #10 pick. And we also got to talk about Orlando, who gets 4 and 12. But let's get into it. The Cleveland Canadian Cavaliers have once again, what is this, the 4th time in 12 years they've ended up with the #1 draft pick. That also means you'd have to be pretty bad for 4 straight years. They had a 1% chance of ending up with the #1 pick, and now, Devo.
We had almost as good as a chance as the Cavs to get the #1 pick.
Yes.
Right here. Yeah. Wiggins, you got to. Best guy in the draft, I think.
Okay. Now, Dan, hold on, wait. I want to get your reactions, though, because, I mean, there was a lot of buzz on Twitter, whatever. Dan, what was your reaction when you found out Cavs got
I was sick. I was sick to my stomach. What do you mean these guys win the lottery again? As a basketball fan, as a Raptors fan, as a fan of the NBA, it's just ridiculous that they get the #1 pick again. I guess it really is the luck of the draw.
Abomination.
But I did not feel very good about it.
No.
At all.
Now, we talked about at the top of the show. You've coached a lot of the kids that are available in this draft. So let's pick your brain. Who should the Cavaliers take with the #1 overall selection? Well, and also, who would you take? So tell me who you think they're going to take, but who would you take?
Well, I got to take Wiggins just because, I love the kid and I've coached him and I know how spectacular he can be. I can see a case for them taking Embiid because he could be a generational center, but his back is going to be the issue. If his back is shaky, I don't think they can afford to take him. If his back is solid, then, he makes sense.
Greg Oden could have been a generational center, too, and they passed up on Kevin Durant.
So are we all agreeing?
Oh, yeah. You cannot
Wiggins?
pass up on Andrew Wiggins. No
once-in-a-lifetime talent?
Yeah, you got to take him. You have to.
But they got Anthony Bennett at the small forward.
Who cares?
Alonzo G.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? How many games did they win last year? 26, 28?
It's true.
Everyone's expendable on that roster. You draft Wiggins.
Okay, so now here's the other side of this thing. How attractive is that Cleveland job now? You've got your young bigs, Anderson Varejao, veteran, Anthony Bennett, guy you can work with, Kyrie Irving, you have your franchise point guard.
Hey.
Deion Waiters, a problem off the bench and a problem in the locker room. But
you got all the Canadians. I know who I'd hire.
I'll
Next
take it
coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers right here.
But, I mean, how attractive is that job, and who do you think will end up with it? Dan, I'll start with you.
They're all attractive jobs for coaches. I mean, there's only 30 jobs. Look.
I'm not taking that Bucks job.
Why not? Do you know what they pay to be a coach in the NBA?
All right, okay.
Look,
if there's a TV deal out there, I'll take that.
It's very attractive. It's very attractive. You have the #1 draft pick. You have a lot of young players. You have Kyrie Irving. You're in a division. Let's see, who's in that division? It's not that great. You can move up very quickly in that Central Division. So I think it's a very attractive job for any coach out there on the market, a veteran coach who's sitting waiting for a call, or a new young up-and-coming coach.
Devo, Charles Barkley came out and said LeBron James is going back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Is the NBA doing everything it can to make that Cleveland destination appealing to LeBron?
They're trying to, man. I think, we were talking a lot earlier about trading that pick. And I mean, Kevin Love's out there, but there's no guarantee. Deng's contract's up. You've got 3 of the 4 #1 picks in the last 4 years. You've got 3 #1 picks of the last 4 years. That is, it's the NBA is trying to make this squad be the next best thing, right? And I don't know if it's going to happen.
All right, now, another big name that's in this draft is Dante Exum. We talked about Parker and Wiggins. Those guys, of course, they'll be up in the mix. But Dante Exum's a guy a lot of people, especially in North America, have not had a lot of chances to see. Yeah. Luckily, I have a good friend named Roy Rana who coached Dante Exum. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you straight up and down, is Dante Exum a franchise point guard? And will my Lakers get him?
I guess the question is he a franchise point guard? He certainly is a franchise guard because he's a little bit of a combo. And I've got a chance to see him in a number of different elements, been coached him and then coached against him in the summer when he was with Australia. Spectacular talent. I mean, he's got great size for his position. He's athletic. He can shoot it. Great character kid. Great motor. I just can't see him going wrong. Whoever gets him is going to get a great player for a number of years. He's a great player.
All right. Now, something else we got to talk about within this first round of the draft is a lot of people talking about tank. 2 of the teams that did a better job of tanking, Philly and Orlando. They wind up in great positions. They didn't get the #1 pick, but you talk about depth of draft, they have a shot. Dan, I'll start with you. Philly has 3 and 10. Where should they go with these picks? Like, what do you see them doing, and how much better can they get through this draft?
They're going to get a lot better if they draft well. Now, they're third. They had a miserable season to make sure they got in that top 3. Good for them. They have what they wanted. They're going to get one of Wiggins, Embiid, or Parker.
Yep.
That's what they wanted. They have one of those top 3.
What else do they need to address then with that 10 pick?
Well, I mean,
Best player available?
everything. All they have is a point guard right now.
I'm not even sure if they do. I like at least 4 of the point guards in this draft better than I like their point guard right now. But MCW, he's okay. Devo, Orlando.
Orlando needs
4
a point
and 13.
Guard.
They
A
need,
point guard.
yeah,
right
get Jameer
away.
Nelson out of there.
Nelson needs to go. Their roster is just a bunch of bigs and Nelson. And, I mean, Oladipo is a great player. You need
the
something to
7
complement.
power forwards.
Yeah, you need to complement that. So, first things first is get a point guard.
Tyler Ennis would look good in Orlando.
More realistically, though, I think they'll probably take Exum,
I'm with you on
Exum
that.
at 4.
I
Yeah.
hope he's still there when the Lakers pick. Now, let's move on. The Toronto Raptors picked 20th in this year's draft because they made the playoffs. Damn right. So, what should the Raptors do with this pick? We have 2 players, Terrence Ross and Jonas Valanciunas, that we're developing, and they're very young, and this team needs to get a bit more mature. So would you like to see them move up in this draft, move down in this draft, or move out of this draft? We're going around the horn, starting with Dan. Up, down, or out?
I'd stay where they are. You can get a really good player at number 20. It's been proven over history, and especially in this draft, which is so deep.
All right, Roy?
Yeah, I'm keeping it, and I'm going to get the best player available at 20.
Okay.
Same thing, or out and trade for it.
Package?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, still more to break down here in Canada's home for Talking Hoops. This is the Hangout. Shout out to Kevin Love, who has basically decided he's going to pack up and ship out. We also got to send shouts out to Tristan Thompson, our man, who is down at the House of Hoops. And we hosted a very special event with Tristan, so we'll have all of that after the break when we return on Canada's home for Hoops, the Hangout.